Hello everybody, we're back again for another review of the Saw franchise. And today we're going to be reviewing not that Saw 4. This is where my big opinions on the series is going to start from positive to skeptical. For starters, this film basically begins with the autopsy of John Kramer. Which is, it's cool, I love this scene. That's probably my favorite part of this film, but what pains me the most is some of the traps. The opening trap is cool too. I like the Coliseum trap. But the one about the scalp trap, just uncomfortable. Oh, that one with the pedo, that totally makes it. He totally deserved that. So that's a pretty good trap I like from that book. But this episode, I did say I'll be talking more about the backstory of John Kramer. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen these films. I should have given it originally, but here you go. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning. So John Kramer and his wife Jill Tuck were wanting a son. And she was 7 months into pregnancy, and you see she worked at a drug rehabilitation. I'm sorry, you can't pronounce words today. Rehabilitation. I'll say that. Center where even Amanda and we'll find out Cecil are, and Gus. Gus even gets in a fight with Cecil, and Gus is the one that gets his eye blown out in Saw 2. But so one night, we later find out that Amanda had something to do with this, but so Cecil runs into the clinic and wants to steal the drugs, and he's so fast getting out here, he slams the door into Jill's stomach, causing her to bleed in a pretty gross way. At the hospital, they find the baby's dead, and this upsets John Kramer. We even see in other flashbacks he was making a little puppet toy for Billy, as we now know, but he is also making the glass coffin. When Jill visits with one of her friends, or one of John Kramer's friends down there to try to convince him to get back together, tells him to get out of there, and that's when we later find out Jigsaw's traps happen here. Well, first the Cecil trap happened, where he puts the face of knives, but that's all that really happens in this movie. We don't find out how Hoffman is hired till like 5, so I'll go into that. But so we find out that Detective Matthews actually survived and is having to be saved by Rig. Although Jigsaw's game is, so Rig is always having this goal to save everyone and bursting through doors, and the goal of this game is to let the game play out. If that 60-minute timer ticks down to 0 by the time it's all over, all of them go free. However, if it doesn't, they all die. Besides Hoffman, obviously. Well, back then we probably didn't know it was Hoffman, but now we do. But so Rig wakes up in his bathroom and kind of like how Adam did in the original, but this time he gets a letter from his wife with her picture on it that says, and Jigsaw even warns in one of his tapes that, but he goes on to meet Brenda in the scalp trap, and we find out that if he wouldn't have touched this, the trap wouldn't have begun, and the police could have got there and disarmed it. And funny story, that trap is brought back for the Saw 6 poster with the VI, so it's cool. I like that little Easter egg it had. But what else is this film all about? And what is it better for? Well, I like the part where it's showing that John Kramer is still controlling the strings after he's laying on an autopsy table dead. And that's a cool feature, but compared to how Saw 3, Saw 2, and Saw 1 were, this doesn't succeed as much as this one. And I do think this is a not as superior film. It's okay. I still don't want to say I hate this film. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I even prefer Saw 5 over this. I don't like Saw 4 or 6. I've told you that. I will say, though, I like 6 more than this. This and Saw 3D are probably my least favorite of the franchise. This movie, its twisting is okay. And Strom is okay. I like Strom. Strom is one of my favorite characters besides Adam, but I wish he wouldn't have died. But here's the thing. We do see in the final part where when Strom gets there, he goes into the room and he sees Jeff, our main character from the last movie, and he shoots him. The gun wasn't even loaded in Jeff's hand. So, what's that about it? But this has some neat looking kills. It's good. You know, of course, isn't as bad as some of the later films, but what's the last thing I'm going to leave you guys on, and what is the best part about this film? The tape that John Kramer leaves in his gut. As clever foreshadowing we see in Saw 3, he put wax on the tape, so he swallows it. And they find in his stomach, digestive tract. And they cut it out, and it talks about, just because I'm dead, the games have just begun. You might think the games are over just because I am dead, but the games have just begun. But yeah, that's basically a little summary of what he says in the tape. Stay clear, tomorrow is Saw 5. Fun. We're 4 movies before the series is ending on this channel. And I'm telling you, people have been asking Spiral, where's Spiral? I haven't seen the movie Spiral. I'm not going to review it till I see it. So that's whenever I can see it. Well, I hope you all have a good day. Stay healthy. Don't be sick. Or don't get sick. Don't be sick either, but still. And remember, don't die.